The probability that Dane goes to school by car on Monday is 3 over 5. If he goes to school by car on one day, the probability of going by car the next day is still 3 over 5. If he goes to school by bus on one day, the probability of going by car the next day is 3 over 4. This information is given in the partially completed tree diagram for 3 successive days. Copy and complete the tree diagram. And so we have Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And so our goal is to copy and complete this particular tree diagram. So the probability that he goes by car on Monday is 3 over 5. And that's what they say. The probability that Dane goes to school by car on Monday is 3 over 5. Now, it says if he goes to school by car on one day, the probability of going by car the next day is still 3 over 5. So if he goes by car on Monday, the probability of him going by car the next day is 3 over 5. And so that's why this is 3 over 5 here. If he goes to school by bus on one day, the probability of going by car the next day is 3 over 4. So here he goes by bus on Monday, and the probability of him going by bus on Monday is 2 over 5. But if he goes by bus on Monday, the probability of him going by car the next day is 3 over 4. And that's what this says. If he goes to school by bus on one day, the probability of going by car the next day is 3 over 4. So this right here is 3 over 4. And so we have to figure out what this particular one is, right? And what the rest of these are, right? You have to fill in the blanks. And so here I have 3 over 5. And the reason why I have 3 over 5 is because he went by car on Tuesday. And if he went by car on Tuesday, the probability of him going by car on Wednesday is 3 over 5. Because it says, if he goes to school by car on one day, the probability of going by car the next day is still 3 over 5. So since he went to school by car on Tuesday, the probability of him going to school by car on Wednesday is 3 over 5. Now, this one right here is 2 over 5 because these two bars or these two lines should add up to 1. So if this is 3 over 5, this must be 2 over 5 because 3 over 5 plus 2 over 5 is 5 over 5 and 5 over 5 is 1. And so if this is 3 over 5, then you automatically know that this is 2 over 5 because they should add up to 1. Now, how do we get 3 over 4 here? Well, it says he went by bus on Tuesday. And if he went by bus on Tuesday, we want to figure out the probability of him going by car the next day. Now, if he goes by bus on one day, then the probability of him going by car the next day is 3 over 4. And we know that because it says it right in the question. If he goes to school by bus on one day, the probability of him going by car the next day is 3 over 4. So this must be 3 over 4. And if this is 3 over 4, then this has to be 1 over 4. And that's because these two should add up to 1. And 3 over 4 plus 1 over 4 is 4 over 4, which is 1. Now, this one here is 3 over 5 because he went by car on Tuesday, okay? And if he went by car on one day, the probability of him going by car the next day is 3 over 5 based off of the question because it says if he goes to school by car on one day, the probability of going by car the next day is still 3 over 5. So since he went by car on Tuesday, right, which is since he went by car on Tuesday, the probability of him going by car the next day is going to be 3 over 5. Again, this is 3 over 5 because since he went by car on Tuesday, the probability of him going by car the next day, which is Wednesday, is 3 over 5. And if this is 3 over 5, then the probability of the next one is 2 over 5 because when you add them, you should get 5 over 5, which is equal to 1. Now, why is this one 3 over 4? Well, this one is 3 over 4 because he went by bus on the previous day. And it says and it says that if he goes to school by bus on one day, the probability of him going by car the next day is 3 over 4, right? That's what it says. The probability of him going by car the next day is 3 over 4. So since on the previous day, Tuesday, he went by bus, the probability of him going by car the next day, which is Wednesday, is 3/4. And so this right here must be 3/4. And then this here is 1/4 because these two lines must add up to 1. So if this is 3/4, this must be 1/4 because 3/4 plus 1/4 is 4/4, and 4/4 is 1. And so this right here is the completed tree diagram. Now let's use this tree diagram to answer these questions. So it says, calculate the probability that Dane goes by car on all 3 days. And so that means that he goes by car on Monday, he goes by car on Tuesday, and he goes by car on Wednesday. And so that's going to be 3/5 because we have 3/5 here, 3/5, right? And then 3/5. And so we multiply that. We have 3 times 3 times 3, which is 27, and 5 times 5 times 5, which is 125. So the probability that Dane goes by car on all 3 days is 27 over 125. Okay, now we need to figure out what is the probability that Dane goes by car only on 1 day. So the probability that Dane goes by car only 1 day, okay? So there's different ways this can happen, right? There's different ways this can happen, so you have to account for all 3 ways. So he could go by car on Monday, and on the other 2 days, he take the bus, or he could go by car on Tuesday, and then the other 2 days he takes the bus, or he could go by car on Wednesday, and then the other 2 days he takes the bus. And so let's account for car, bus, bus. And so since it's car, bus, bus, we're gonna go in this route. So it's car, 3/5, right? Then bus, right? 2/5, right? And then bus, which is 1/4, 1/4. So let me highlight that. So car, bus, bus. So car is going to be, car right here is going to be 3/5, right? That's why we have 3/5 here. And then he takes the bus. So the bus here is going to be 2/5. That's why we have 2/5 here. And then he takes the bus again. So the bus is going to be 1/4. And so that's why we have 1/4 right here. Okay. So that's one way that it could happen. What's another way it could happen? Well, it could be bus, car, bus. So first he takes the bus. That's going to be 2/5. That's right there, 2/5. And then he takes the car, and the car here is going to be 3/4. Okay, so we have 3/4 here. And then he takes the bus. So the bus is going to be 2/5. Okay, so it's going to be 2/5. So it's bus, car, bus. All right, so that's another way that it could happen. And then let me erase another one. Then we could do bus, bus, car. So we could do the bus, which is 2/5, and that's 2/5 here. And then you could do the bus again, which is 1/4. All right, 1/4. And then you can do car. So car is going to be 3/4. So we have 3/4. So we have bus, bus, car. Okay. And so let me erase our link. And so we have, now we're just gonna multiply. So we have 3 times 2 times 1, and 3 times 2 times 1 is just 6. And then 5 times 5 times 4 is 100. And then we say 2 times 3 times 2, which is 12. And 5 times 4 times 5 is 100. And then we say 2 times 1 times 3, which is a 6. And then 2 times 4 times 4, that gives us 80. And so when we add all these up, we get 0.255. And so the probability that he goes by car only 1 day is going to be 0.255. And that's the answer to this particular question. Let's move on. The probability that Dane goes by bus on Tuesday. So goes by bus on Tuesday. Okay, so there are multiple ways that which this can happen. So let me just explicitly say it. There are multiple ways that this can happen. So goes by bus on Tuesday. Okay, so first we have 2/5. So this could be bus, so 2/5, right? And then 2/5. And then he could go by bus on Tuesday, which is going to be, goes by bus, it's going to be 1/4. So it's going to be 1/4, right? That's 1/4. And then it could be, that he take a car. So it's going to be, car is going to be 3/4. All right, so it's going to be 3/4. So what is this basically saying? Well, it says that he took the bus, right? He took the bus on Monday, right? He took the bus on Tuesday, right? And then he took the car on Wednesday. So bus, bus, car. So that's one way it can happen. In any event, he still took the bus on Tuesday. So he took the bus on Monday, which is 2/5. He took the bus on Tuesday, which is 1/4. And he took the bus on, and he took the car on Wednesday, which is 3/4. That's one way it can happen. All right, what's the next way that can happen? So let me erase these. Another way it can happen is if he take the bus, right? The bus on Monday. So if you take the bus on Monday, so that's 2/5, right? Then he could take the bus on Tuesday. That's going to be what? 1/4. Okay. And then he take the bus on Wednesday. So he take the bus on Wednesday. Okay, so it's gonna be he take the bus, he takes the bus, and he takes the bus. So on all 3 days, he takes the bus. So he takes the bus on Monday, he takes the bus on Tuesday, and he takes the bus on Wednesday. In any event, he still takes the bus on Tuesday. So that's a probability, a possibility, or a possible way that it could happen. Okay, let's look at another way. So another way is that he could take the car on Monday. So he could take the car on Monday. Then he could take the bus on Tuesday. He has to take the bus on Tuesday. And then he could take the car on Wednesday. So it's car, bus, car. So it's going to be 3/5 for the car. And it's going to be 2/5 for the bus. Okay. Then it's going to be 3/4 for the car again. Okay, so 3/4 for the car again. So that's another way it can happen. In any event, he still took the bus on Tuesday. And then let me erase, just erase this. What's another way that it could happen? Well, he could take the car on Monday. So you take the car on Monday. That's 3/5. And that's 3/5. And then he could take the bus on Tuesday, which is 2/5. So that's the bus. And then instead of taking the car on Wednesday, he could take, let me erase this. Instead of taking the car on Wednesday, he could take the bus. So if you take the bus, that's going to be 1/4. So it's going to be 1/4. And so that's definitely the bus. So there are 4 ways in which he can do it, right? He could take the bus on Monday, then the bus on Tuesday, then car on Wednesday. Or he can take the bus on Monday, the bus on Tuesday, the bus on Wednesday. Or he could take the car on Monday, the bus on Tuesday, and the car on Wednesday. Or he could take the car on Monday, the bus on Tuesday, and the bus on Wednesday. So there are different ways he could do this, all right? So let's multiply. So we have 2 times 1 times 3, which is 6. 5 times 4 times 4, which is 80. Then we have 2 times 1 times 1, which is 2. 5 times 4 times 4, which is 80. Then we have 3 times 2 times 3, which is 18. And 5 times 5 times 4, which is 100. And we have 3 times 2 times 1, which is 6. And 5 times 5 times 4, which is 100. And when we add up all of them together, we get 0.34. And that's the answer to this particular question.